But I don't know. I don't feel like that. I think it is probably the last year we're gonna see Chris Bumstead on that Mr. Olympia stage. And who is next in line to replace him? Well, it's gotta be Urs or...
Nesse vídeo eu vou mostrar para vocês um vídeo legendado do Ivan Bodybuilding, um canal gringo opinando sobre o Mr. Olympia na Classic Physique. Bom, eu acho legal mostrar a opinião internacional sobre o fisiculturismo pra gente ter uma noção e ficar por dentro do mundo, né, do que o mundo está achando para esse Mr. Olympia. Agora dá uma olhada no que ele falou.
Pro League. So let's talk about the upcoming Mr. Olympia and who's gonna do what. So first we gotta talk about Urs Kalecinski, who has a chance of becoming the new Classic Physique Mr. Olympia champion. So the last time we saw Urs in his full body physique update, he looked much bigger, much fuller, and now we can only see his legs. Now that probably means that he lost some of that fullness upstairs, or maybe that he's holding it, but he doesn't want to show it yet. Anyways, his legs are looking crazy, super round, and super shredded. At 2.5 weeks out, he looks ready. He looks pretty much ready to compete. I don't know what his plan is. I don't know how much he weighs right now, but I'm guessing he's gonna go lower in weight. Usually this guy needs to go really low compared to his off-season weight. In the off-season, he always has pretty much shredded glutes, but when it comes to showtime, he needs to diet down all the way, and he usually loses some of that fullness, some of that size that he has in the off-season. So right now, his glutes are peeled, like all the way across the entire muscle, like all the way in, everything is just peeled, inside out, like you can't really get any more shredded than this. It doesn't really get much better. But, you know, Urs usually has like really lean glutes in the off-season even, and that's definitely not his problem area. It usually is, you know, usually glutes are the last body part that comes in, but not for him. He's always peeled in that area. The other areas might be a little bit more problematic for him, but not really. He always is shredded. The only question right now is how full is he gonna be, because he needs to be much fuller in the upper body if he wants to, you know, win the Mr. Olympia. This was the last full body physique update, and here it definitely looked like his upper body was improved. I think his arms looked much fuller, his chest also, his shoulders too. He was just much bigger upstairs, while legs looked pretty much the same like before. Now his conditioning is much better, you can see that in the legs, so I'm guessing he lost some of that fullness, but I wonder how much. I wonder how much will stay. And what is this? Why am I all of a sudden saying that he can win the Mr. Olympia? Up until recently I was saying that nobody can beat Chris Bumstead. Well, right now it seems like Bumstead is vulnerable. I don't know if you saw his most recent back training video, but in that one his right bicep seems off. It seems weird, you know, as you can see there is a lot of redness to it. I'm gonna show you a couple of other shots, but yeah, his right bicep seems swollen, it seems reddish. I'll show you a couple of other angles, but it really seems like something went wrong with that bicep of his, and it probably happened at the beginning of his prep, because you guys probably saw that post when he was talking about how difficult this prep was in the beginning. He said this was the most challenging prep that he ever started. That something bad happened to him when he was in Canada, and we didn't know what it was. He didn't really clarify, but I'm guessing at this point it's a bicep tear. It's gotta be. I mean, look at it right here, you can see that redness, and look at this angle as well. His biceps were never super long and super full, they were like genetically always very short, but right now the right one seems shorter than the left one, shorter than usual. And I'm not saying that he's necessarily going to lose the Mr. Olympia for this. I think he's that good that he can even get away with a bicep tear like Dorian did for so many years. Yeah, this does mean that he's more vulnerable this year, but it also means something else. It means that next year he might not even do the Mr. Olympia. Because you guys know that he was so uncertain of how long he's going to compete for, when he's going to retire. I mean, with all his issues with that autoimmune system disease, with his quad tear, with his left bicep tear, and now with another right bicep tear, it seems like his body is struggling. It seems like his body is at the tail end of his bodybuilding career. It seems like he doesn't want to do this anymore. I know he's pretty young, but he has been doing bodybuilding since he was basically a teenager. He accomplished so much so far, he's so successful, he doesn't really gain much by winning this Mr. Olympia title, and he's probably going to win the Mr. Olympia, but is he gonna keep competing next year? I don't know, it seems like his career is getting to an end. Here in the caption he says, here to stay, but I don't know, I don't feel like that. I think it's probably the last year we're gonna see Chris Bumstead on that Mr. Olympia stage, but you never know, And who is next in line to replace him? Well, it's gotta be Urs or Ramon. Personally, I prefer Urs's physique because it's more classic. If he actually improves that upper body fullness and roundness, then yeah, he has a chance against Ramon, and once Sibam is out, I think Urs is next in line.
Bom, como vocês viram, ele disse que o Urs é o próximo da fila, que o Urs vai ser o próximo aí a tirar o Sebum se o Sebum perder nesse ano e não sei o que, usando aquele argumento de que o Urs é mais clássico que o Ramon e tal. E cara, esse argumento de mais clássico eu nunca entendo direito, porque quando você para analisar os físicos dos anos 80, 70, até 60 mesmo, né, que é geralmente o que a gente pensa como clássico no fisiculturismo, tem físicos de todas as formas, de todas as proporções, tem físico com cintura larga, com cintura mais amarrada, com braço grande, com peitoral grande, com perna pequena. Então assim, esse negócio de físico clássico é realmente um negócio que a própria IFBB, a própria NPC não classifica de uma forma criteriosa o que seria, né, um físico clássico. Então esse argumento realmente não faz nenhum sentido, na minha opinião, olhando de uma forma lógica, né? Eu sei que quando o cara fala clássico, ele geralmente fala se referindo à estética, mas aí o que é estética também? Geralmente a estética é associada a proporções, simetria, basicamente isso que a gente utiliza, né, para avaliar a estética, proporção e simetria. A questão do físico clássico em si, eu nunca entendo o que isso realmente quer dizer, cara. O físico clássico tem que ser igual ao Arnold, o físico clássico tem que ser igual ao Frank Zane, físico menor, né, mais esguio, perna pequena, físico no geral com volume menor, ou Arnold com peitoral absurdo, braço absurdo, só que com pernas um pouquinho menores proporcionalmente. O que é um físico clássico? Tomplets, quadríceps absurdo, cintura meio larga também, com quadril mais largo, parte superior do corpo desproporcional ali, um pouco menor do que as pernas. O que é, cara? Realmente eu gostaria que alguém especificasse ali, ou deixasse claro aqui, ó. A IFBB declara que isso aqui é um físico clássico e é isso que eles estão buscando na Classic Physique. No momento que fizerem isso, esse argumento vai fazer mais sentido. E no momento que o cara também explicar de forma criteriosa o porquê o Urs seria um cara mais clássico do que o Ramon, eu acho que esse não é um bom argumento. Se o argumento for, não, eu acho que o Urs vai chegar mais seco e maior que o Ramon nesse ano, tudo bem, aí é um argumento válido porque a gente vê que isso realmente acontece. O Chris é o maior da categoria e chega com um condicionamento muito bom. E é justamente por isso que a gente vê ele vencendo, né? Tendo o conjunto de proporções ali excelentes, com a estética ótima, e é o maior do palco, com um condicionamento excelente. É por isso que ele ganha. Se alguém puder me explicar exatamente o porquê o Urs é mais clássico que o Ramon, eu vou querer saber, cara. Deixa aí embaixo os seus comentários. Basicamente esse é o vídeo, e é isso aí. Até o próximo vídeo.